Tristyn Lee is a fitness influencer who rose to fame in his early teens for being mind-blowingly shredded at a very, very young age. Over the last few years, he's continued to rise through the ranks doing collaborations with some of the top bodybuilders in the world and gaining a dedicated fan base who just can't get enough of his year-round shredded appearance. However, a few months ago, Tristyn made a video about the realities of him maintaining that body composition and the toll it took from massive strength decreases to only getting 4 hours of sleep per night, being obsessed about food, believing an extra gram here or there could make or break his diet, ruining his social life, and so much more that comes along with extreme diets over a long period of time. With the passing of Scott Murray, unfortunately due to the extremes of his relationship with food, his fitness obsession, and his body composition, initial reports are that his body simply gave up. And this is a reality that we have to accept. Being in this incredible condition is not a healthy thing, hence why bodybuilders only usually achieve single-digit body fat for a period of a few months of the year, and then they straight away have to rebound out into a healthy place because, quite simply, at that point, your hormones are shut down, your sleep is non-existent, your recovery is impossible, and gaining any form of muscle mass will be just as impossible. But Tristyn seems to have turned a corner. Is he embracing a healthier, balanced lifestyle? Well, today we're going to delve into a short video from him. It's simply a minute long. It's a YouTube short. And I want to talk a bit about his approach to this bulk and whether I think that he's truly turned a corner or not. I could delve into the longer form videos and that's something I might do, but he's been on a bit of a social media detox lately, so there isn't all that much about his new bulking routine. We did see an update recently of him doing a leg workout, however, and he still looks absolutely mind-blowingly shredded. Whether he's even gained from that 4.4% body fat estimate that he received, I have no clue, but it does not look like it. So let's jump into his diet and see if it makes any sense.
Today we're running through a full day of bulking. So what we've got here is 5 ounces of grass-fed, grass-finished, lean, 85-15 ground beef, 300 calories, 1 grass-fed sausage link, 284 calories, 2 ounces of grass-fed beef liver, 82 calories, half an ounce of beef tallow, 127 calories. This meal totals out at 700.
So let's have a look at the nutritional profile here. 790 calories, decent calorie amount, but 60 grams of that is fat, 60 grams is protein, and 2 grams of carbs. Now, I can understand some people prefer, less carbs in their morning meal. However, on a bulk, there's no escaping the fact that carbohydrates are truly king. This is an issue Tristyn's had in the past. He's had an aversion to carbs. He's always followed a keto diet, and he's had, in my opinion, a very unhealthy relationship with that food group. There is nothing inherently bad about carbohydrates. Keto was a fad that rose to the public attention through the Atkins diet and has sort of barrel rolled since into a beast that is full of misinformation. Yes, keto is absolutely an effective fat loss tool. However, I would say that it's more effective for people who are overweight, with diabetes, who need to control their carbohydrate intake for those reasons. And it is, in my opinion, a very useful tool for dieting because it's much easier to feel satiated when you're only consuming protein and fats. They are more satiating, in my opinion, than, fast to digest carbohydrates. So the logic going into a gaining phase or a bulking phase not utilizing carbs doesn't make sense. But hey, maybe there's more throughout the rest of the video. I don't know. I haven't watched this yet.
90 calories. So I know what you're thinking with this meal. Is beef all you eat? And the honest answer is pretty much yes. So on to meal number 2, 6 ounces of wild stock ice salmon, 247 calories, 5 ounces of grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef.
Can we just appreciate that tinned salmon is fucking gross? If you eat that, you're a maniac.
298 calories, 3 ounces of cow heart, 98 calories, and half an ounce of beef tallow, 127 calories. This meal totals out at 760.
Fucking fair play to him for eating heart. I saw this in one of his previous videos. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know about this. And, I'm not sure whether it's Liver King fads coming through, but I believe he mentioned he eats the heart because of the CoQ10 contents. Now, Tristyn, I'm not sure if you've ever been to any supplement store ever, but they actually sell this great thing called ubiquinol, which is a more absorbent version of CoQ10, basically. It gets into your body easier. Comes in a little handy pill, and you don't have to eat a heart. I don't know, maybe this is part of some cult keto thing that they do. Do they eat hearts? Is that some kind of sacrificial thing for gains? I'm not sure, but let's delve into the calories. 770 calories, 50 grams of fat again. Jesus Christ, rip toilet. 80 grams of protein. I mean, look, I'm not sure how much I buy into the whole you can only absorb a certain amount of protein in one sitting thing, but yeah, I'll buy into it and you would not absorb 80 grams of protein. That's just madness. 0 grams of carbs. Yeah, no shit. So clearly keto is his way forward with this. which is maddening. Now, I will give him this, that in studies, people using the keto diet did gain less body fat, but they also gained significantly less muscle. Carbohydrates are godly for this. Glycogen in the muscle is just, part of a bodybuilder's bread and butter. And yes, you can achieve glycolysis, which is where your body sort of creates carbohydrates from excess other nutrients. However, this is only really for certain organ function, like brain function. It's not really comprehensive to fuel your muscles. And also, why would you do that? Wouldn't it be more efficient just to consume the carbs in the first place?
69 calories. Here we have 2 more grass-fed beef sausages, 568 calories, a 3.5 ounce grass-fed sirloin beef patty, 136 calories, 4 extra large pasture-raised eggs, 340 calories, half ounce of beef tallow, 127 calories. Finished the day off with 2,730.
Fuck me. Okay, so that's the other 2 meals of his eating. It's about, 202 grams of fat. So he's totaling what, like 400 grams of fat here? That's just absolute madness. I'd say he's in a bulk, but I wouldn't say it's a healthy one. A lot of fats directly from meats, in my opinion, isn't the best way to go. Added fats within a bulk can be useful, but you want to be really selective with that type of fat. And 100% from animal protein, that's not going to be healthy over the long run, I'm sure. Too much of anything isn't healthy, right? Let's not demonize fats here. 216 grams of protein, so that's about 100 grams per plate. That's, again, madness. We're increasing every single meal here, which is just sickening. The 50, 60 grams of protein in this first meal was just about acceptable. That's about what I have currently on about 4,500 calories. But then 4 grams of carbs again, so basically 0 carbs throughout the whole day. It's crazy to me that he's completely negating, insulin production, the relationship that carbs have in the muscles, in his approach. He seems to have said in his previous video a few months ago, which we can go back and watch if you want to in a future video, that he understands the negative effect on stuff like strength and all those kind of aspects, but he doesn't seem to be able to equate the fact that his poor relationship with a certain macronutrient, which is essential for the body. This is the key thing. A balanced diet truly is important. You need a base level of fats. It's not anywhere near this. It's probably 50, 60 grams a day just to maintain stuff like hormone function. And then you need carbohydrates to help fuel the muscle, and it's a really efficient energy source. It's no more efficient to burn fat for energy. I'm sorry, all you're doing is switching the fuel source. It's not necessarily better or worse. As I've said, the studies have indicated that it can help moderate body fat increases, but it also significantly moderates muscle gain, which is the end goal of a bulk. So all he's going to do is stay lean and maybe gain, a couple of pounds lean at the end of a whole year's worth of bulking cycle, because his progress will be that slow. And without that added body fat on his physique as well, it's much harder to gain weight. Now, yes, it is important to keep body fat controlled, and too much body fat increases estrogen, has loads of negative effects on the body, but estrogen is also vital for your bodily function, for muscle growth, all those kind of aspects. So him basically keeping himself bone dry shredded is going to negatively affect that. Unless he's supplementing insulin, estrogen, and probably testosterone as well, given his calorie levels, I'm just finding it hard to fathom how he believes this is more optimal for a bulk. If he's truly turned a corner, wouldn't he have addressed all his poor relationships with food? If keto really worked to the effectiveness that he clearly believes it does, wouldn't the bodybuilding competitors of old and new, done this? No, because all the science, all the research, in order to grow optimal levels of muscle mass, suggests the opposite. And Tristyn's in this world. It's just confusing. And it's clear to me that Tristyn has not addressed some of the core issues here. Look, I'm all for balance. I'm all for a healthy relationship with food. Yes, in bodybuilding, sometimes balance is not possible, but Tristyn aiming to be a competitive bodybuilder here. If so, he'd get himself a damn coach who knows how to do this effectively, and that coach would pick him up, shake him violently, and ask him what the fuck he's been doing for the last few years, wasting his ungodly level of body composition and potential on staying stagnant. But why do I take such an issue with keto? Well, it's because quite simply he's not only sacrificing in terms of his health, but he's also sacrificing in terms of performance output in the gym. First of all, it's going to be very difficult for him to eat enough calories to properly fuel himself during a bulk to push himself to the extreme. And he's not allowing himself carbohydrates, which would really fucking help with his lifting. It would fill the muscle with glycogen. It would ensure that you've got a healthy muscle mass on you that is fueled and ready to go for every single hard, intense session. And this guy isn't weak. He's lifting 100-pound dumbbells. That's more than I lift on bench press. So this little kid is outperforming me, and yet is not consuming carbohydrates. Imagine what he would be able to achieve if he did. But it's not just that, he's not able to then actually recover from his workouts efficiently. If he's still doing, even just a fraction of what he was doing before without any carbohydrates, that recovery is going to take a damn long time, and I'm not confident that he's giving himself that. That means that he's going to have higher stress, higher chances of injuries. I mean, he touched on that in his video a few months ago, but I'm just not convinced by this that he's changed. Scott Murray unfortunately passed away, and it was due to a relationship with food that was slightly different to Tristyn's. Scott was obsessed with volume eating, with, filling his stomach to the absolute brim with basically 0 calories, and he overworked himself. And, I don't want to critique his approach, because unfortunately, it is a tragic event that happened. And, my condolences absolutely to his family in that scenario. It's the worst of the fitness industry, the kind of effects that it had on him. But this brings to my attention just the importance of addressing people like Tristyn, who may have a different approach, may have different issues, but it's glorified poor relationships with food. It's an eating disorder. To be deathly afraid of carbohydrates of a food source, to be that restrictive, and he clearly sweats the small stuff still, because he's choosing to eat beef heart rather than supplement something he could get from it. I understand that supplements aren't always as good as the raw source, but Jesus fucking Christ, if that's not obsession, then I don't know what is. This isn't meant to slam Tristyn as a person. He seems like a very intelligent, switched on guy, and he seems nice, but the example that he's setting for people is not a good one. Now, I'm glad that he's coming out and speaking on this. Even if he continues to perpetuate the behavior, at least he's explaining to people that it's not healthy or sustainable, but it just worries me about his future. Will we see him, in his 20s truly suffer for this? I believe that we will. And it's not sustainable. Even on his current bulking diet, I'm not persuaded that he's going to be getting a full nutritional profile from what he's eating. I'm not convinced that his body's going to be able to function optimally, and I'm not convinced this isn't going to be detrimental to him in the long run. Even open bodybuilders display a slightly more flexible relationship with food and a more balanced approach, and they are, generally speaking, not a great example either. I face my own issues with food. This is the first time in like a good 6 months to a year that I've not had a cheat meal in a week. I've not been the best, and my prep suffered because of that. But I've faced my own issues with food. That's clear. My prep suffered because of it. I'm in the situation I am now because of it. I did not compete in 2021 because I simply had binge eating control issues. I hadn't slept in God knows, about a week. This life is not fun, and sure, some may be more well suited to tolerate it than others, but no human being is made to sustain that for that period of time. Just because you've learned to ignore the signals doesn't mean they aren't there, and the impacts of those signals being triggered doesn't exist. It does. If you enjoyed this video, if you want me to dissect other influencers' diets and their questionable relationships with food, then do drop a comment below, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.